I'm going to use the Creative Palette and these wonderful Catalyst Wedges from Princeton Brush Company and show you how we're going to create some of these printed and stamped samples. I want to show you how we're going to create some beautiful mono-printed pages using the Stampendous Creative Palette and these wonderful wedges and things from Catalyst by the Princeton Brush Company. When you open the Creative Palette and take it out, you'll see there's a lot of help and instruction on the insert, and there's an acetate liner on each side. I suggest that you remove the top one, which is smaller, and leave the larger one at the back, and completely remove this acetate. Okay, now you're ready to apply your paints, and I'm going to simply take any acrylic paints and apply them directly to the surface of the palette. Okay, a couple of different colors will make it very interesting. And you could use some of the wedges just to begin to move the paint around. And if it's helpful, a brayer will allow you to extend paint all the way out to the edges of the Creative Palette. Okay, then this is where it begins, the fun begins with the wedges. I like to do this approach where by spinning it around, I'm actually removing paint and creating some beautiful and interesting patterns. When you're satisfied with the pattern you've created, place any paper down on the surface and just hand press on the back. And lift for an interesting monoprint. Without cleaning the palette, I'm going to do a second run of more paint, and I could simply transition this way to a completely different color palette if I wanted. Okay, and again we'll use our wedges to create some interesting patterns here. Hand press across the back and lift with another interesting monoprint. If paints are beginning to dry a little bit, spritzing some water will revive it again, and we can come back and do another print on the first one. The paint on the wedge can also be used to imprint directly onto your paper and pages, and as you can see in my little journals, it makes for some very interesting little border edges. Also, the wedge itself is a great option just for cleaning paint off of the palette when you're ready to completely switch to a different color scheme. A soak in some very hot water will make it very easy to quickly scrub up any remaining paint that you want to remove from your creative palette or the wedges. The wedges with excess paint can be used to make interesting little patterns and borders around your pages, which is best to do when the paper is flat. And this whole background was created with just brushing off some of the different colors of paint, and it made a beautiful pattern in and of itself. Now that my monoprint is completely dry, I can proceed with heat embossing a rubber stamp design. I'm going to take the Versamark ink, which is a slow drying ink, it's just clear, and apply it completely over the stamp. Now when I press it down, I want to make sure that I press firmly in case there are uneven areas of paint on my print. And now I'll take the black embossing powder and cover completely over the wet impression. Tap off the excess. If needed, take a little brush to remove some extra around the edges, even snap on the back. And this can be returned to the jar from the folded paper. So now this is ready to heat with my heat tool. Okay, when you've heated it sufficiently, you should be able to see a shiny finish to the raised impression that's now been heat embossed, and that gives us a beautiful cover. So adding some additional pages and punching holes and doing a ribbon tie gives you a nice way to make a beautiful journal using your monoprint pages and your embossed patterns on the cover.